Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. Golden Bachelorette proof, it's true love for Joan and Chock. Golden Bachelorette Joan Vassos gave her final rose to Chock Chapel on Wednesday night. He got down on one knee and proposed with a gorgeous Neil Lane ring. She accepted. During the after the final rose, some fans thought the couple looked a little distant with one another. Others thought they were adorable and very happy. Now there is more proof for all the haters that it's true love for Joan and Chock. Keep reading to find out more. Proof that Golden Bachelorette Joan is madly in love with Chock. Following the big finale on Wednesday night, Golden Bachelorette Joan Vassos and her new fiancé Chock Chapel set out on their media tour. One of their first stops was Good Morning America. Before going on camera, the couple was asked a series of questions about one another. They both agreed that they are early risers. Chock is the messier one, and Chock also complains more when they are sick. As for who is the better driver, they have no idea. Joan and Chock shared that they have not been in a car together yet. They were kept separate while the show was airing. That was all adorable. But it was at the end of their question and answer session that showed some proof of how in love these two really are. At the end of the clip, Joan and Chock were going back and forth with one another about who loved the other more. He said he loved her more, and she said that he didn't, and she loves him a lot. Their banter was adorable, and it's apparent to all these two are in it for the long haul. Once Golden Bachelorette Joan Vassos and Chock Chapel live in the real world for a little bit together, they will start planning their wedding. Chock said she is going to marry, it's just a matter of time. In the meantime, the couple plans to go on a lot of dinner dates and look for an apartment in New York City. They will live there part-time while going back between Maryland and Kansas. Joan even said she never thought she'd say it, but she's excited to spend some time in Kansas with Chock. The happy couple said that their children are also all getting along and hit it off when they all met. Soon it will be off to Disney World for all of them to get to know each other better. Joan's dreams are all really coming true. Congrats to Chock and Joan. It's rare that a reality TV love story manages to feel both glamorous and completely down to earth at the same time. But that's exactly what viewers are witnessing with the Golden Bachelorette's Joan Vassos and Chock Chapel. In a season brimming with heart-to-heart talks, sunset walks, and unexpected twists, the pair have managed to stand out not by being the loudest or the most dramatic, but by showing the kind of connection that seems to grow stronger with every moment. From their very first meeting, there was a kind of stillness around Joan and Chock that contrasted with the usual rush of introductions on night one. While other contestants fumbled through elaborate gimmicks and rehearsed pickup lines, Chock simply walked up to Joan, gave a warm smile, and said, "I've been looking forward to meeting you." The producers probably expected some over-the-top banter or playful teasing. But instead, what they got was something far rarer, genuine comfort. Joan didn't just smile back, her entire posture softened, as though she'd been bracing for a whirlwind, but suddenly found herself on steady ground. The small moments that speak volumes. While reality TV thrives on champagne toasts and fireworks, Joan and Chock's love story is being told in quieter ways. During group dates, Chock doesn't jostle for attention or interrupt Joan mid-conversation with someone else. Instead, he's the guy you catch in the background, watching her with the kind of focus that says, "I'm not here for the cameras. I'm here for you." Joan, for her part, has shown the same gentle investment. When Chock mentioned on one episode that he missed fishing trips with his late brother, Joan didn't just nod sympathetically. She asked thoughtful questions, remembered small details, and later surprised him by planning a lakeside picnic with a tackle box and a pair of fishing rods. It wasn't a flashy date by production standards, but it was a deeply personal one. The look on Chock's face when he realized what she had arranged said more than any staged hot air balloon ride ever could. The kind of chemistry you can't fake. True love on television can be tricky to gauge. After all, chemistry can be edited, storylines can be shaped. But even through the lens of reality TV's selective storytelling, Joan and Chock's connection feels they share inside jokes without explaining them to the camera. The way Joan leans into Chock during group settings without even realizing she's doing it. The way Chock remembers her favorite tea flavor and brings it to cocktail parties. These aren't big, performative gestures meant to impress viewers. They're the little things couples in the real world do when they're thinking of each other, even when no one's watching. When Chock earned a coveted one-on-one date in week 4, the two headed to a vineyard. Sure, there was wine tasting, but the highlight wasn't the romantic dinner. It was the two of them in a dusty old barn, trying to stomp grapes without falling over. They laughed until their faces hurt, holding on to each other for balance. And the cameras caught a moment where Joan rested her forehead against his chest and whispered, "I feel like I've known you forever." Chock's response wasn't a grand declaration. It was simply, "Me too." And somehow that was more romantic than any "I love you" could have been at that stage. Weathering the storms. Every reality romance has its tests, and Joan and Chock have already faced a few. Early on, rumors swirled about whether Chock was too quiet to handle the pressures of life after the show. A few contestants even tried to stir doubt, suggesting Joan needed someone more outspoken. But Joan wasn't swayed. In an interview segment, she said, "I don't need someone to speak the loudest in the room. I need someone who listens the most." It was a subtle but firm defense of Chock's character, and fans took notice. Chock, for his part, showed his commitment during a tense group date challenge that involved public speaking. It was far from his comfort zone, but he stood up, faced the crowd, and delivered a heartfelt speech about second chances in love. The speech wasn't flashy, but it was raw and real. "I thought my best days were behind me," he told the audience, glancing at Joan. "Then I met her." The moment earned him more than applause. It earned him the kind of trust that cements a relationship. Family matters. One of the biggest indicators of true love in the Golden franchise is how seamlessly the families blend. Joan's daughters have been fiercely protective of her, especially after the heartbreaks she's endured in the past. But when Chock met them during hometown week, any initial skepticism seemed to melt. He didn't try to impress them with flashy promises. Instead, he listened, asked questions, and spoke honestly about what he admired in Joan. By the end of the visit, Joan's daughter was telling the cameras, "He's the real deal. You can just feel it." Chock's family, too, welcomed Joan warmly. His sister even joked, "I haven't seen him smile this much since high school." The two families blended over dinner, and for once in the Golden Bachelorette history, the episode felt less like a meeting of the families and more like a reunion of people who already knew they belonged in each other's lives. Besides, it's not just for TV. Plenty of couples look convincing on the show, but falter once the cameras are gone. The difference with Joan and Chock is that their connection seems built on habits and values that will translate off-camera. They prioritize listening over talking, shared experiences over lavish gifts, and vulnerability over image. Even in their most romantic moments, they still look a little goofy together, and that's important. Love that can survive reality TV isn't the kind that's always picture-perfect. It's the kind that can laugh through a grape-stomping mishap or embrace during a sudden rainstorm without worrying about their hair. One telling moment came during the overnight dates, when Joan revealed a fear of the future. What happens if their lives don't align geographically? Chock didn't brush it off with a vague, "We'll figure it out." Instead, he told her, "If I'm with you, that's the place I want to be." We'll build from there. The final feeling.